Greetings and salutations. It is I, Professor Macabro, accompanied, like always, by my lovely co-host, gal pal, and occasional booty call, Zombie Death Cetos. And we are here to regale you with day 6 of Echo Zero's 80's Week Challenge. Cha! 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 Indeed. And oh boy, do I have something that, most probably will, make me lose a lot of cred with, some of you, or it might surprise a lot of you with the movie that I picked for day 6. Indeed, if you thought The Princess Bride was a little different from what I usually showcase, in this channel, what with all the boobies and violence and the like, this is really going to throw you for a loop. But it's the kind of movie that fits with Echo's challenge, and well, it allows me to talk about something a little bit different other than horror. But yes, get ready for something that I'm sure no one expected Professor Macabro to talk about, but it's such a great movie that I couldn't avoid it. I couldn't help myself. This movie doesn't get, it seems, talked about enough. And I must say, was genuinely surprised to find out that this movie was a flop, a bomb, a box office disappointment. I, for one, saw this movie and I dug it. I liked the hell out of this movie. And the movie in question, which I must say has a really cool sounding title, is XANADU. Yes, XANADU, with Olivia Newton-John and Swan from The Warriors and Gene Kelly. How was this a flop? It's fucking amazing. I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. But apparently it was. However, the soundtrack made millions and millions of dollars, and it went, I think, double platinum, if I remember correctly, and I don't get it. I personally don't get how this movie wasn't a bigger thing. It is now. It is a little bit more accepted now, but back in the day, why? How did this fail? It has Gene Kelly. He's singing in the rain, and An American in Paris, and again, it has Swan from The Warriors. Warriors, come out and play. And it has Olivia Newton-John from Grease. You're the one that I want. Do, do, do. And yes, I know, I'm well aware that I'm completely losing my badass and awesome gory booby cred by mentioning musicals, but Professor Macabro, again, has mentioned this before. My first love is horror. I love the blood and guts and the boobies. All the boobies for Professor Macabro. But I was also a child that would watch a lot of TV. And I would enjoy horror movies. I would enjoy martial arts movies. I would enjoy kaiju movies. But I also learned to appreciate all movies. And one movie genre that they would pass a lot back in the day on TV was the musical. Some people hate musicals, some people love them. I am in the love section. Singing in the Rain, again, with Gene Kelly. Freaking amazing one. So yes, big fan of the musical. And XANADU is what you get when you decide to make a love letter to the musicals of the 40s, again with Gene Kelly, and try to make something in a musical from the 80s. Now, this was filmed in the late 70s, but it released in the 80s, so it counts for Echo Zero's 80's Week Challenge. Indeed. And it feels a lot like that middle point between the end of the 70s and the start of the 80s, which I am all about. But what is this movie actually about? Well, let me tell you. The movie stars, again, Swan from The Warriors, and I'm pretty sure it was Swan. Yes, I'm pretty sure it was Swan. And he's this struggling artist. His job is to basically recreate artwork from albums, and he has to trace draw them from the album into a bigger format so that they can use it for publicity or artwork or what have you. But he finds that his life is not that good. He finds what he does is not fulfilling his artistic needs. So he is, like a lot of us, trying to find that spark of creativity to make his life meaningful. And he encounters that with Akira, which is a muse, one of 9 muses, that runs around by him through roller skates, gives him a kiss on the lips, and then fucks off. And he's like, well, who the fuck was that? Oh, she's a good kisser. I gotta find her. And in his search for Kira, he finds that she was part of an artwork, but no one knows anything about her. And then he encounters Gene Kelly, who's just much like Uncle Lloyd, just diddling on his, I know it has a name, but I forget the name of it, an instrument, kind of like a flute, but bigger. And he's like, hey, dude, what are you singing? Well, I'm playing my flute. And they form a friendship that is very cool. And Gene Kelly, actually, did encounter Kira way back when, and it was his muse that inspired him to make his music. But once Kira fucked off, unfortunately, he lost the passion for music, and he kind of gave it up. And this is what, for me, the highlight of XANADU. It does very, very much feel like a love letter to the musicals of the 40s, because they do have this very cool sequence, cool to me anyway, this very cool sequence of Gene Kelly dancing with Olivia Newton-John in the very much of the style of the 40s, with the little tapping thing, like they're like, and they're tapping their little feet, and it's a very, very, very cool scene to me again, and to a lot of people, I would hope so. So it's very cool to see Gene Kelly reprising his musical role in this movie. It's very, very cool to Professor Macabro. And then you have, of course, the relationship between Kira in XANADU with the main character, and he's desperately in love with her, and she's an inspiration. She makes him find that passion, that zest for life. Zombie Death Cetos is my muse. She is my inspiration to do the things that I do and be as insane as I am. So, yes, indeed, I can relate to that. So they have this whirlwind romance, and they're able to convince Gene Kelly to establish like this disco roller bar that is called XANADU. Right comes the title. And they have this really, really cool sequence where the Olivia Newton-John and Swan from the Warriors are just like dancing around, and they're in this like stage thing, and they're going through different locations. Big fan of that. And then you have this really cool scene, again cool to me, where they're debating what kind of atmosphere they want to have for the XANADU club, and you have Gene Kelly like, no, it's gotta be like in the 40s, and you have this dance sequence with the 40s and the big bands and everything, and the Swan guy is like, no, it's the 80s, man. We gotta have this really rockin', really cool scene, and it's kind of like this war between the old school and the new school, well, new in the 80s anyway, and then they kind of merge together to create this really cool thing, and they're like, that's it. We'll merge the old school with the new school, and that will be XANADU. But unfortunately, Kira is a muse, and she has to fuck up back to wherever she lives. And poor Swan from the Warriors is like, God fucking damn it. But he's able to cross into the dimension of the muses and actually fight for Kira, and she comes back, and we have this really cool, amazing musical number ending where Olivia Newton-John is just singing and doing dance numbers with all the awesomeness from the 80s, and I'm all for it. Ah, yes, I am a big fan of XANADU. Yes, indeed, I really like it. This is the DVD cover, the DVD edition that I own. But there's also on DVD a really cool magical edition that was released that has a featurette that behind the making of XANADU that I need to get. I want to get that magical edition of XANADU, but it's also on Blu-ray. If you can track down that Blu-ray. I don't know if this is streaming in anything. I have the DVD, so that's where I saw it. But I'm pretty sure you can find it streaming on probably Amazon or something. But yes, I would highly recommend XANADU if you want to get that very, very unique taste of the merging between the musicals from the old school 40s, which is represented by Gene Kelly, and your more modern 80s musicals like XANADU or The Apple from the Canon Group. If you're a fan of that kind of stuff, I highly recommend XANADU. It's a time capsule, a very unique time capsule of, again, this musical merging of the 40s and the 80s that I highly recommend if you're a fan of that genre. Yes, indeed. That was my 6th entry for Echo Zero's 80s Week Challenge. Cha! Let me know if you have seen XANADU, and either you didn't care for it, or you've learned to appreciate it as the years have gone by. I must say, Olivia Newton-John, ooh, she was a hottie, yes indeed. Big, just watching her is on the screen was something else. But also, again, seeing her pair up with Gene Kelly was also a highlight for me. So, let me know what you think of XANADU in the comments down below. We got one more movie to talk about for Echo Zero's 80s Week Challenge, and it's one of the big ones, so stay tuned for that. But until we see you all again next time, this has been Professor Macabro, accompanied by the also lovely and very good dancer, Zombie Deathcitos, thanking you for your time and your views and your comments, and wishing you all, like always, a good evening.